Filmmakers, it's time to use Soldo. Soldo is a payment solution that replaces petty cash given to employees and production assistants when in prep, on set, or in post-production. Soldo is a multi-user expense account that helps you control business spending. You can give Soldo cards to some or every employee, to entire teams or even contractors instantly. Transfer funds to all card holders. And you can use Soldo for free for 3 months with the code FilmmakersPod. Soldo.com. Listen for more info in today's episode of the Filmmakers Podcast.
It's the Podfix Network!
Hello and welcome to episode 275 of the Filmmakers Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk
filmmaking.
From indie film to studio films, TV and
everything in between.
How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to
fuck it up, in our very, very humble opinion.
Indeed it is. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Filmmakers Podcast. If you're new, where have you been?
We've been waiting for you for 4 years.
I reckon there might be someone out there who's listened to all 275, including this one now.
I hope so. Every single listener, right?
Every single listener. If you have, put your hand up. I'd love it. I'd love to know if anyone listened to every single episode. Even if it was just the beginning. Yep, not that one. Today on the show, we welcome the fantastic and very delightful Lisa Azuelos. Her film, I Love America, is out on Amazon Prime now. Myself and Toby came up with the title for this episode, but it's not clickbait, is it, Toby?
No, it's not. Because her first film actually was a failure. She did one film and it failed and she felt really bad about it. But she used her anger and her rage about this failure to make a success and a successful Hollywood film. And that's an incredible story.
And it really is, and it's ridiculously inspiring. So don't give up. It's not easy to make a hit film. It's not easy to make a great film. It's easy to fuck it up. Don't be disheartened by whatever's gone in the past. If your short hasn't done well, if your first feature hasn't done well, if the script you sent out to all those screenwriting competitions came back, didn't even make the quarterfinalists, don't worry about it. It's not the be all and end all. If you're a filmmaker and you want to do it, go do it.
Your mom is worrying about you enough, so don't you worry about yourself.
Exactly. So on this episode with Lisa, we talk about her writing process, working as a sitcom writer, learning how to be efficient and humble, how she writes collectively and intuitively, and how she learns from other writers. Also, what it's like being a mum and a filmmaker at the same time, and how she started out in this industry. She went from the finance world into the filmmaking world.
She also talks about making LOL, laughing out loud, in France, and what it was like to remake it in America with Miley Cyrus and Demi Moore. She talks about the difference in the filmmaking culture, directing kids, and what it was like to write and direct I Love America.
Woohoo! All that to come. I am Giles Alderson. I'm a writer, director, and a producer. And you are?
I am Tobias Fees. I'm a writer-director, short film writer. I'm a writer-director.
Thank you. Be positive. Yeah. Look at that. It's not just short films, Toby. You've also written feature films that have been produced and out there. It's just not allowed to talk about them. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? How funny that we instantly feel ashamed or embarrassed to say anything. It took me so long to go, yeah, I'm a filmmaker. Yeah, I'm a writer. I'm a director. But actually, the more you own it, the more you say it,
yes,
the more real it becomes. That's what I do. So thank you all those who listen to our episodes. I say episodes because there was a few in the last couple of weeks.
And years.
And yes, for those who've listened to all the episodes. Please do shout out. I'd love it. At Filmmakers Pod, do at us. Peter Pock. Gosh, has anyone seen X yet? How great is that movie if you've seen it in the cinema? Kate Dolan's film, You Are Not My Mother. Wow, so much love for that episode with her. She was brilliant. And myself and Phil did have a chat, which is a kind of Patreon special, but me and Toby have been talking about how we're going to develop the podcast and what we're going to do coming up. And we're going to do something different, aren't we? We're going to do some round tables. We're going to do some specific indie filmmaking chats where we're targeting specific areas.
We're literally going crazy.
We are going crazy at only episode 275 because we're targeting areas like short films, just like cinematography. We're going to maybe do round table with 4 cinematographers, and a round table with 4 short filmmakers, etc., or editors. But then we'll go in specific on those areas as well.
Yeah.
Like funding or like lenses or location hunting or first ADing or ADing department. So hopefully, if you like that, let us know. Literally, shout us out. Say, yes, we'd like that. DM us, whatever it is. Also, we mentioned our Patreon there. But so if you do want more from us, then go to that. Link is in the show notes. Do come support us. But also, we do the wrap-up.
What's the wrap-up?
The wrap-up, thank you, Toby, is our weekly newsletter where we take articles from around the filmmaking world and put them into one friendly newsletter for you. So if you want that, do sign up. Link is in the show notes if you haven't already. And the reason why you should sign up is because there's a brilliant article on there. There's always brilliant articles, but this one stood out because if you didn't see it, these are the kind of articles that we find. This one is top funds UK filmmakers can apply for now. This article originally was on Backstage, and then we took it for the wrap up, and it links you back to the Backstage. But it's basically talking about where the top funds are now for indie filmmakers in the film industry. And there is a hunger for this. There really is, because people always say, how do you fund your films? Right, okay. Well, here's a perfect article. And that was all because of our wrap-up, finding that. So, BFI Network, always difficult, but hey, it's a really important one. First Flights is a great one. Genera Films. Uncertain Kingdom is a new one starting. Check that out. Screen Scotland, Film Wales, and Northern Ireland Screen. Obviously, it helps if you're from those areas, and in fact, might not apply if you're not. But the top 4 there, really exciting. Check out the wrap-up. Things like that are on it all the time, and it's easy for you to find. Link to you subscribing, and it's free, is in the show notes. We should get to today's episode, because as much as we're amazing and interesting in this intro, Lisa is much more amazing.
And way funnier.
Way funnier. But don't forget, me and Toby are hosting, so therefore you do get more of us. We don't go away. We don't disappear.
No, we stay. Sorry.
I'm just so sorry about that. Don't forget, I Love America is out now. Do go support indie films. Oh, and that's something else I wanted to say, is if you want to be an indie filmmaker, watch indie films. All these amazing indie filmmakers who've come on this podcast, you really should be watching their films. And if not, seeking out other indie filmmaking films and going to film festivals, because you watch them. And that's what's amazing about, for me, and I'm sure it is for you, Toby, about doing this podcast, is you get to watch all these indie films all the time. And that can only help us, right?
Yes, the indie world is a community, and be part of the community.
Oh, that was nice. So here it is, our episode with the fantastic Lisa Azuelos. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm great.
You've had a day full of press.
I kind of like it, it's very narcissistic. I love to talk about what I do.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I love it too. We're all so narcissistic, aren't we? So thank you so much for spending time with us. We chat filmmaking, and obviously we will chat your film as well, which was, a delight to watch. Beautifully shot.
Thank you so much.
Stunning performances. Just really one of those that you just wanted to envelop and hug. And and obviously it comes from your childhood as well, which is quite incredible, really. It feels that way. I don't know. I guess to Toby, and then when we were researching you, it kind of felt that this was very autobiographical. Let's go with that word.
Autobiographic in French.
Yes, that's a much better way of saying it.
Actually, all my movies are very autobiographical. Oh, it's
there we go.
It's better in French. All my movies talk about me. Let's put it that way.
Right? But isn't that the way that we should do it? Because we have to say what we mean. Because you've written everything that you've directed as well, in terms of your features, which is incredible. Because often you get to the stage where other screenwriters will be handing scripts or producers giving you scripts, but you've written it, and it's amazing that, of course, we're going to write about ourselves. Right?
Yeah, I mean, plus I have no imagination, so
That's just so not true. But I love that you said that.
It is true. I can't. When I was drawing things, I could only draw things that were in front of me. And when I'm writing a story, I can only write about things that happened to me, because I can't imagine like different worlds. I would have not been able to write Harry Potter or, a fantasy world. I have not that kind of imagination. And some writers, it's exactly the contrary. They need to go in fantasy world or something that's very far away from them, because otherwise they can't talk about it. And me, it's the contrary, and my only little maybe gift that I have is that I can link my inner, very intimate self with everybody else's. And because I think that, I don't believe in the myth of separation. I believe there's a unity, and this is the unity that I'm looking for.
Oh, that's gorgeous. It's a lovely way of putting it, right?
Yeah. And how does it then translate when you're writing the screenplay? What is it like in the writing process, right? Yeah, you have your life and the moments you experienced yourself, but then you need to dramatize it, right? And put it into a structure. How does that process look like?
I don't even dramatize. It really happens to me.
It happens to you.
Yes, I'm forcing myself to live life and not writing about it, making it some space between the time it happens to me and the time I'm writing it. But I'm taking notes, and I'm like taking notes. But then, I'm not deciding to write a story. I'm full enough that now is the moment that I can write a story. It's like I'm saying, as a tree, you're blossoming, and then you have a green fruit, and then you have a fruit, and the writing is when the fruit is falling off the tree. Yeah. But I'm not deciding that this is the day that the fruit is falling off the tree. No, it's when I'm full of myself, full of life, full of links that I made. I'm like, well, now I've got a story. Let's go for it.
That's really interesting, because people struggle to find stories. Do you know what I mean? We're like, where does the next one come from? Like, say, did you always want to do a movie like I Love America, which is pretty much a lot, well, it feels like a lot based on your life, certainly the younger life. Was that always the plan in the back of your mind, that one day, especially, when you start to be a filmmaker, I would like to make this kind of movie?
Well, I always had a voice in my head since I'm like 5, 6, telling the story of my life while I'm living it. Maybe I could have ended in a mental hospital for that. But thank God, I became
a filmmaker.
It's just, that my arms are like free and not, in a camisole or whatever. The thing is, all my movies, and it's my 8th movie, I'm doing my life. But in the beginning, my movies was about, it's always about, I would love to do something else, but apparently I'm not. It's always about, what's love about? How can men and women become good lovers, good people, one to each other? Why are we fighting? And what it is to be a mom, and what it is to be a woman when you're not a wife, when you're not a mom. What is it to be a woman? Because in your language, a woman is not a wife. In my language, femme means woman. Wife means woman. It's the same word. It's very difficult, to know what is the essence of being a woman when you're not a wife and when you're not a mom. And this is what I'm always trying to understand. And also how this woman can connect with a man. Because that's what's, at the end of the day, for me, that's what's important.
How did you juggle then? Because you've got 3 kids, is that correct?
Yeah.
I did my homework reasonably correctly. How did you manage to juggle being a filmmaker and, like you said there, being a mother and a wife? You said there it was difficult, it's the same word, but how, you're fighting to be a filmmaker at the same time. That's hard. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, it's not because I'm a filmmaker. It's because I decided to keep on working and being a mom. But first of all, my first movie, I'm 40 when I do it.
You don't look 40 now.
Well, I'm much more than 40. So thank you, but no.
Pleasure.
So first of all, my kids were kind of big. My first movie is 2006 and my last daughter was born in 1998. So I had this, incompressible moment in my life when I'd rather be a mother than just, a liberated woman who's like, thinks she's an artist, So I had to commit to being a mom first, because obviously of the childhood I had, I also wanted to not be a failure as a mom, because we have this pressure to be good moms, and this is what I'm trying to struggle against in my movies, is there's no such thing as a bad mother. It's not true, you stop. Women have so much pressure with that stupid thing. And also I'm being helped, I have in a movie, it's my story, but like 55 people are helping me to build that story. the DP, the editor, the costume, the production designer, everybody is, in the same direction as I am. And as a mom, I was helped by someone who was helping me in the house, but also by my older daughter, by friends, by my parents. I was trying to negotiate that thing. And also I was telling my kids, I'm sorry, I'm your mom and I'll always be there for you, but I need to be there for myself as well.
And that's really tough to do. Really tough.
What was the transition then like from your focus on being a mom to then saying, okay, I want to focus on myself as well and be a filmmaker?
It was quite natural because I was married to a movie director. So in the beginning, I was just a script writer for him. And, I was more focusing on the kids. But, they were used to this world, and the enemy is guilt. This is what human beings must understand. Whether you're a man or a woman, the enemy is guilt, and if you fight guilt, if you embrace guilt, because whatever you fight, you're reinforcing, obviously. If you're like saying, okay, maybe today I'm a bad mother, but I'm a good person to my artistry or to my writing or to my whatever. And, I also learned how to write a script with my kids all around screaming and doing things. And, I have my own little world. And one of my scripts, I remember I was writing the script and I was breastfeeding. So I had my baby on the table and I was giving my how do you say, my breast. She was like, I was feeding her and I was still writing the script because I had a deadline and I had to give it like 2 days after. So it was crazy, but
you make it work, right? You do.
Everything is intention. When you have a clear intention, I want to be the best mom I can be and I want to write that script. Then life makes it happen.
Yes. Yeah, because you fight through it. It's interesting, isn't it, how you have to juggle those two things, in terms of the motherhood and the script writing at the time. Actually, talk us through why you wanted to be a screenwriter, because I think at first, and then, or maybe you always wanted to be the filmmaker, the director, producer, screenwriter. What was it for you? You don't choose.
I don't think I had the choice because I tried to do something else. I was a very good student and I had my baccalaureate, which is my graduation. I was 16, and to be able to work, I needed to wait 18. So in the beginning, I thought I would be an actress, and I was proposed many roles, and my parents would say no all the time. And because I wasn't 18, I couldn't work without their approbation. So I said, okay, what am I going to do for 2 years? I'm going to university. So I went to study finance in university. Then I had a major in university in finance. And then, everybody told me, well, now that you have this great diploma, why don't you go in the stock exchange and become a finance person? Which I did for a year. And I was working at the stock exchange and I was in the finance world. And at the end of 1 year, I was like, I'm fucking losing my time here. This is not my area. This is not, I can't be in an office. I can have a boss. I can't obey. That's my major problem. I can't obey to people.
And why should you? You know what I mean?
I was like, are you serious? Everybody was like looking, you see, the 14th of July, which is is going to be a Friday. So it's good. We're going to have 4 days of freedom. And I'm like, I want my whole life to be a freedom life, So I decided to quit, and I had the chance to have my best friend. She was working on sets. So I began to do coffees and garbage and things like that on sets. And then suddenly I was having less money than when I was obviously in the finance world.
Of course. Yeah.
But I was so much happier. And I was like, this is my world. This is my tribe. And I think all you need is to find your tribe. And once you're in the good tribe, and my first short movie that I direct, I remember exactly precisely where, what time.
Yes.
And I said, action. And I said, this is where I belong. And since that day, I have no doubt that I'm in the right place for me.
Love that. Same for me as well. Toby, same for you? That first time you called action?
No, it was when I watched movies as a child, and I always knew that I wanted to become a writer and then director.
Well, you've just ruined this.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Well, how was your, like say, you started off doing bits, pieces on set, you'd moved from the business side, the banking side, the financial side, to being on set and seeing that. How did you say, okay, I'm going to write a script? screenplay and know any kind of format? Did you literally just blurb stuff out with your first short?
Yeah, the first thing I did was a short movie, and I thought that everybody could do it because I could do it. I thought it wasn't supernatural. So I did this short movie, and then I realized that this was a job, and that could be my job for a living. And I was very lucky to meet some people who helped me really in the business, say, oh, you're gifted, you should keep on doing this and blah, blah, blah. Because I showed my movie to a lot of people. I knew a lot of people. I've always, been in the, I was going to Cannes Film Festival. I was sleeping in my car and making like a beauty princess while going to the screenings. But I was sleeping in couches and stupid things. But I was so passionate about movies. And then I went to Los Angeles for the first time in my life to take Robert McKee class for screenwriting. Okay. And it was a game changer for me because I really understood that I kind of was gifted because the thing I did was not so far away from what I was taught, but B, there was so many things to learn from that man and from, the business that I became obsessed by writing a good script. And basically, because your podcast is about that, he said something that really changed my life. He said, a good script is a script that you can't take anything away of. And, you always feel that you have to fill it in, but it's not true. It's as much as you can empty it out, and then it's going to be good.
I love that. Robert McKee said some good things.
He's quite a smart man. Yeah.
He's quite a smart man.
When you like screenwriting, it's such a great class.
Right.
Not so much. I wrote, my little short movie. I did one movie with, I co-directed with my ex-husband. And then I wrote the 15th of August. And it got picked out immediately.
See, that's great. I mean, it says that you're a great writer. It says that you've had this something.
Also, because my first movie was such a failure and it broke my heart. I was like, maybe I should stop. It was such a failure. I felt ashamed walking in the streets. I thought everybody was, shaming me. And, it was really the walk of shame for like 6 months for me because I thought everybody knew how failure it has been, my first movie. So then I decided the next one is going to be such a hit. And I want this to, so I came out from rage.
Oh, I see. And that was Annecy Soant-Elez. Is that right? I mean, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. My French is terrible.
Annecy Soant-Elez.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you for my terrible French. Apologies to anyone French listening. Yeah. So talk us through that. Why did you think it was an embarrassment? Talk us through that and how, because it's so hard to get over those moments where you just feel like everyone's
you feel
against
you're such a hero when you do a movie and then nobody gives a shit, and you understand that and plus, it was a movie about sex and love already, and it was PG-18 at that time.
Right.
Just because, girls were enjoying sex and, maybe it's been my whole life struggle. And then I felt nobody's going to like what I'm doing. Nobody's interested in what I have in my head. And I felt very, very shameful about that. And plus, it cost money and you feel like, oh my God, I spent all this money and it's not, people are going to lose money because of me. And, I felt a lot of different things. Now I understand nobody gives a shit when they lose money in the movie business because anyway, they don't know where to put it. But,
But you do and what you go through in your head. But it's not just that, is it? It's the fact that you think what you thought was a great product. Because we do when we're starting out, we're writing it, we're directing it, we're doing it. We think it's good. We don't think it's shit. We think it's good and acceptable. And then when it comes out and it's panned, is really difficult to take. It's really hard because you feel like it's personal attack, right? Is that how it felt for you?
You've done a little baby and people go and they look at it and say, oh, it's really ugly, but it's the first one, so it's not really important. We're going to make other babies that are going to look better, but this one really is embarrassing. This is how I felt. And I still wanted to love that baby.
And you probably still, you do. You can't help it. It doesn't matter how ugly your babies are, you still love them.
That you don't go in the street with him.
Just put a bag over his head with it. How did you, like you say, it was 5 years before August 15th from your first movie then became, and obviously you were accredited as a writer, you didn't direct that or Cavalcade afterwards, the second one you wrote. How did you get their next scripts made? You know, because obviously during that time you felt like a failure, even though you weren't, because making a film is a huge achievement. How did you say, okay, I need to get back on the horse, I need to keep writing, I need to keep creating? How did you, what was in your mindset at that time to do that?
Well, I already had a baby and I really had a life to earn.
Mm-hmm.
So I accepted some job where I was basically writing some sitcom.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really shitty sitcom, but super successful. No, but super successful. You know how shitty sitcoms can become super successful?
Yes, yeah, 100%.
And it's the best thing I've ever made in my entire career because I learned really how to be efficient, I had a boss, he was like, oh, this is shit, this is good, this you have to make it funnier, this is not interesting, this is, it was, all my lines had a number. So it was like number 8, not funny. Number 10, make it funnier. So I really learned how to write in a very difficult way and to obey to someone. But this someone was someone super good at it. And this is how basically I earned my money, writing shitty stuff, but making it better and better, and being very humble about my job, because suddenly you become just, hands that write and they just hire your brain, and what is in you, they don't care. They just want to be efficient. And I learned a certain efficiency and a certain humility that maybe I was lacking of before. This was my real school of writing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. When you're part of such a group and, like writers, when you're like 10 writers to write Friends, maybe you're not the one who wrote Friends, but you learn from this. You learn from this experience. So this sitcom was like a Friends thing in France, and it was quite successful. And then from there, I took confidence in my writing, and I decided to write a movie again.
It's fan mail. It's fan mail. Sponsored by Soldo. So, Toby, who wrote to us this week?
We got tons of fan mails this week.
As always.
And one of them was from Bruce Wayne. You may know him from the Batman TV show.
No? Who did he play?
Batman.
Batman? Wait, Bruce Wayne is Batman?
You bet he is.
Spoiler.
So, he wrote to us as he wants to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Wow! Do you know what? He would be marvelous in that.
And as we at the Filmmakers podcast at the forefront of indie filmmaking, he has asked us for help. Can we help?
Oh, we can help because we use Soldo.
Wait a moment. What's Soldo?
Soldo is a payment solution that replaces petty cash given to employees or production assistants. You'll be able to track spending real-time, instantly transfer funds to all cardholders for free, establish budgets and rules, and much more.
Get 3 months for free by using the promo code FilmmakersPod.
Oh, look at that. We've got Bruce on the line right now.
Thank you for writing to us, Bruce.
I'm Batman.
We know. Toby just said that, spoiled it for everyone else.
I'm vengeance.
Make your mind up. Don't be a joker.
Bruce? I think we lost Bruce.
I think he had a bad signal.
What was your writing process then like? Back then, was it always the same? You'd sit down in front of your laptop, you listen to music maybe? Or did it change over time since the time you wrote the sitcom?
Yeah, because I used to have a plan in the beginning. When I was writing, I was like, okay, who are those characters? Okay, what is the structure? Okay, let's go through from the character to the structure. And then I'm going to feed it with the meat of dialogues, And now I became more intuitive and I feel the story inside me and I just write. And because I became so structured in the way I write, I don't need to write the structure. And it's the different version of it. I know what it's lacking and I'm improving that. And maybe, scripts could be better, but I like to write them, like Whole Foods, organic. It's very organic the way I write now. It's not anymore. It's not structured anymore. I'm fed up with that. But it was very useful in the beginning.
I think it's almost sort of vital to understand it. It's like with anything, like a car. You understand how it works. Okay, you can probably fix it. The same in filmmaking. You have to understand roles, and therefore you can play within that sandbox as much as you like because you've learnt. And that's what you've done brilliantly. You know, that time on writing the sitcom must have been like hugely influential for you. And what a joy to be paid to write as well, you know?
Yeah, because this is mainly what makes you an artist in your own self-esteem. Because otherwise, if you're an artist and nobody pays you, then at the end you're doubting, you know, you're like, well, I'm the only person who thinks I'm an artist, especially if your family doesn't support you, and nobody else say, oh, what you write is great. You need support in that, you know, in that profession. You really need support, whether it's financial or mental or emotional.
Yes. And that's why it can be very tough for screenwriters, directors out there when they're on their own. They don't work in teams and they're constantly sending things out and it keeps getting rejected, because it does and it will. And it can be really disheartening, and you've sometimes just got to stick at it and try and find the best people around you. Did you like to work with other people a lot? Obviously, you've solo written so much. Did you find some points you were collaborating with other writers?
Yeah, I love collaborating with other writers. I
great.
really love it. It's just that sometimes, you know, I'm like trying to find a collaborator. And by the time I find him, I finish the script. No, but it you know, it really happened to me. I was like, who can I write with? And, you know, I'm writing those scenes and it's 35 pages. I'm like, well, apparently I can write this alone but I'd rather write with someone else, you know, because I like to be fed with somebody else's brain, and, you know, it's much better and it's much more nurturing. But, you know, I wanted to say that the big difference between people who do movies and people who don't at the end is just the one that don't drop it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. You just, because nobody's going to say, oh, you're a genius, whatever, in the beginning. Even Kanzout, who was a huge success, my first producers say, well, we don't like your humor. It's super, super heavy. Wow. And we don't relate to that humor. I'm sorry, but this is not the movie that we want to make. This is super vulgar. And I was like, are you like real? Yeah. But then, you know, I found another producer and then it became a huge success. At the end, some people I respected were wrong and me, I was right, you know, and this gives you the confidence to keep on going. And you need to trust yourself. And you need to dig that tunnel. Yeah,
it's so true. And I love that. And did that lead you on to Hey Good Looking? Because you wanted to get back on the saddle as a director as well. When you were writing, you know, maybe Cavalcade, were you kind of going, maybe I could direct this? But was it Hey Good Looking that you were like, you pushed to direct? Was this something you wanted to get back
I never thought I couldn't direct. It's just that I had 3 babies. I was married to a director who told me we can be many cooks in the kitchen. At the time, Me Too was not really there yet. So I was like, okay, you'll direct and I'll be the poor screenwriter and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But then, you know, I went through a divorce and I was on my own. I had to raise 3 kids. I needed to find jobs again. And I had this story and I went so miserable with this divorce things, with the fact to be a single mom and with, you know, really, really striking as a mom and a single woman. I said, I want to do a movie that when women feel like shit, they have something to watch that remind them how beautiful they are, how gorgeous they are. And this is why the movie is called that way.
Great. I love that. How was that experience? Obviously, because you said your first time directing a feature, you felt like a failure and it didn't go how you wanted. Did you do something different this time? What did you do?
First of all, I took some famous actress.
That helps.
And it does help.
Yeah.
Second of all, I had the chance that the movie didn't shoot the year it was supposed to shoot. So I had 1 more year to work on the script and I improved it a lot. And this is what I realized. You can't do a good movie if the script is not good. You can do a shitty movie with a good script, but the contrary is not true, you know.
Yes.
You need a good script. You really need that. And so I was working on the script. I was doing a lot of improv, a lot of pre-work with the actresses. The actresses were genius. genius of comedy, genius of a lot of stuff. And, I just happened to have the good producer, and, it's suddenly the star are aligned for you to have your moment. And this movie was my moment because, it was released, I was 40. And so it seems to be late to begin a life, but that was really the new beginning of my new life, because suddenly the movie was such a huge success in France, and it's still a huge success. It's a cult movie. I see girls who weren't even born at that time who have seen it like 10 times, because the intention I told you was that the women would feel much better when they see the movie. This is what happened. And so it's a movie that women see at least once or twice a year when they feel not so good. They have the period or heartbreak or whatever. They watch that movie and they feel better. And I'm so happy of that.
Oh, congratulations. That's so good and so beautiful. And actually, and it must have felt great for you to go through that failure, in your own words, to then suddenly have the success to go, yes, I can do this. And I was supposed to do this.
Yeah. And plus it was a tribute to my Jewish Sephardic family, my grandma and all this. And it was good, to make a link between how women were treated in this community, which wasn't so great, and how, I could have a success out of it. And, it was kind of a reward for all the community.
Nice. Then you went on to make Laughing Out Loud, which then got you did again in the States. Could you talk us through that process, what it was like to shoot in France, and then what it was like to shoot it again with the same screenplay or with a new version of the screenplay in the States, and what that process was like?
Basically remaking your own movie. Yeah. How exciting. Yeah.
In a different language as well.
It's Groundhog Day. You're like, oh, I've already been there. Yeah. But you know what? The truth is, life is so incredible in itself that even if you're doing exactly the same thing, it doesn't taste the same. I suppose that's why we go from breakups to new lovers to breakups to new lovers. Even if it's the same, it's not the same. And LOL was such a huge, tremendous game changer in my life, because I could go through all what was important to me, the mother-daughter relationship and the kids. I'm super committed with youth, because I think my generation has really failed on a lot of stuff, You have to watch the world today and you're like, oh, I'm sorry. We didn't know that it's going to be so wrong, which is true, by the way. We didn't know. We enjoyed a lot of the ride. And then it's like, oh, you're polluting so much, or you're doing that shit between men and women, or you're doing this bad, this bad, this bad. But anyway, I'm interested in focusing on my kids, generation and on the young people. And LOL was my tribute to the young people. And I was, going through such a shit with my daughter, because she was turning 14 and 15 and she was having sexual experience. And I was like lost in that world, around me, all the moms were like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And I was like, well, I don't think we're doing anything wrong. It's just that they're growing up, and we have to let them their space to hate us and not take it personally. And we have to take our space to be good moms, even if we are not, And this is what the movie is about. And it was such a huge success in France. And still now, the movie's just been released on Netflix like a month ago. Yeah. And it stayed like 2 weeks in the number 5 movies preferred of when it's out.
Incredible.
12 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's such a huge breakout in my life. It's such an amazing. So of course I wanted the American version of it. And in the beginning, I didn't think I would do it. I just wanted to sell the script and do it. And then a director would have done it.
Okay.
Then the producers told me, well, we're interested in you as a director, because I think you as a female director, you as the director of the French movie, I think it's super interesting that you're doing it. And I was like, are you sure? And there were the producers of A Fish Named Wanda and The Big Chill. I mean, all those movies that were my movies.
Yes.
If they say I'm the good director to do that, then they must be right. So this is how I decided that, I'm going to say, yes, I didn't plan on that, but it was my dream. And I had the dream cast because Miley Cyrus and Demi Moore. I mean, what
my God.
better?
Yeah.
It was incredible. And I loved doing it. And I loved doing the same thing, but it wasn't the same. And I loved casting some new people and some new American people. It was funny to see the difference between the American and the French culture, because basically the big difference is in grounding, is in being, what is it to be a good parent? What is appropriate in America and what is not appropriate, like drinking alcohol before 21 is like a huge thing. When in France, we give wine to our kids when they're 10,
Yeah, it doesn't become a big thing anymore.
It's not a big thing. And in America, it's such a big thing. Then, having sex is such a big thing. And showing your tits is such a big thing. And for me, it was a whole new world about censorship and puritanism and all these things, And I think this is why the movie didn't work out so much at that time in America, is because it was puritanism meeting with French freedom, and it wasn't a good cocktail for America.
Yeah, the experience of working on an American movie as well must have been, really, really interesting for you and fascinating to work in that system and go over there and shoot as well. Talk a little bit about that and working with different crews as well and how that held up to your normal.
It's the same, basically doing a movie in America or in France is the same, because basically the crew is there to help you. And American crew are such darlings, this is why I love America, is I love American men. They really want to be good men for a woman. And at that time, it was before the Me Too movement. So it was very rare for directors to be women. So all those big boys in their trucks and stuff, and they really wanted to help me. And, I was partying basically with all the kids all the time. So I would have like 2 or 3 hours of sleep.
Wow.
And so I said, can you please organize me like not a little room, but a little mattress somewhere where I can, during, the lunch break or something, where I can have a little bit of sleep, because I can anywhere.
Because I'm partying too much with the kids.
Apparently, the actors told me that sometimes I was saying action, I would sleep and I would wake up at the end.
And go, that was great, guys. We got that.
That was great. Let's do another one. I don't think it's true though, but
living the dream,
literally.
And we shot in Detroit, and Detroit is an experience in itself. I wasn't. Of course, in the beginning, I thought this is going to take place in New York, but no. Because of a Detroit incentive, it was 30% incentive at that time in Detroit. We did Detroit, and it was supposed to be Chicago. So I shot in Detroit and Chicago. So I was out of my comfort zone. Detroit was destroyed at that time, really destroyed. And it was so sad, this city. But then there was a life in this destroyed city that I felt so strong and gave me the strength, with all these kids around me. And I was part of the kids. And, I love kids so much. You have no idea how much I like teenagers. And I'm super grateful that they still include me in their worlds. Even today, I'm with my kids' friends, even in LA, I'm friends with people who are 20, 21. I'm concerned about what's happening to the young people.
Yes. I know, it's very different. The whole social media world is totally different to our world. Now they have to live through this thing, whereas we could hide somewhere about, that. Well, they can't. They got to live through that, and it's really difficult. How do you find directing children as opposed to adults? I say children, I put that into the teenager bracket, obviously. But how do you find that working with them?
When I choose an actor or a non-actor to be in my movie, I choose a character in the sense that I choose him as the character he is in real life. I'm not really interested in are you a good actor or not, because I think that a good director can make anybody a good actor.
Sure.
Because, what is acting is just being yourself and being natural. So it's like hosting a dinner. If you host dinners and you want everything to be so perfect, you might be sure that the dinner is going to be a mess at one point or another. If you just say, okay, you can keep your shoes or take off your shoes, make yourself at home. I'm going to take a bath, be 5 minutes in my home. And if you want to do the tomato sauce, you can help yourself. Then people feel home and they feel like,
relaxed,
they're natural with you. They're going to be natural with you. Yes. And I'm never playing a role like, oh, okay, I'm the director and you're going to obey me. I'm not there. I'm like, okay, we have this project and we're going to try to make it together. It's a collaboration, basically. So it's the same with actors and non-actors. And I love having people who never had an experience on screen, because I know, it's like, I'm like giving them something that they will always remember. So I want it to be a good souvenir, it's like when you're having sex with a virgin cousin, you want to, you want him to remember you for as a good experience.
I definitely do.
No, but it's like, you're going to be in their mind forever, and you want this experience to be as gentle and as nice and as beautiful as it can be. So it always happens very good.
Brings the magic back on sets, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Suddenly they're in a movie, and as you said, it's the first time, and it's something magical. And
yes,
it's like putty, isn't it? I suppose you can play or mold, Play-Doh, where you can mold something out of them. Whereas an actor, they're quite stoic in their performance. I'm coming here and I'm giving you what I'm giving you, which is cool too. But like you say, with someone brand new, you're like, look, let's relax, play. And especially if you cast right, which it sounds like you do, and it looks like you do massively. I do want to come on to I Love America, but it's just whizzed through, the fact that you then went on to make A Chance Encounter. Where else we go? 40 million screams. It keeps going. You produced a couple of movies in between that as well. Delida, you directed, wrote and produced Sweetheart, Lost in the Disco, and then we come on to I Love America. So we touched on it at the beginning about how you wanted to do something that really resonated with you. Having written all those films and having done that, like I said, we sort of touched on, was this something that you went, okay, this is the movie? And how long had it been percolating in your mind that you wanted to make this?
Oh, this is very funny, because this is the first movie I didn't intend to write. I came in America in 2019. In the beginning, I was supposed to be in Portugal, but then something brought me here. The Lost in the Disco thing. It was a theatrical about the disco in New York. So I went back in America, and I felt like, oh my God, I love being in America, really. So, and I decided, I did Sweetheart, and it was about my daughter moving out of the house, and I'm not a mom anymore. Yeah. Maybe, I would be super good if I am somewhere else than in Paris, grieving my mother's time, so let's be adventurous and do something else. So this is where I decided to come in America, and I decided that maybe I'm going to be a shadow director for great TV shows, so that I can learn a new way and technique and skill. It was, a lot of TV shows, and I was very impressed by the quality of these TV shows. And I'm like, anyway, I'm empty. I have nothing else to say. So I'd rather use my craft of directing for other people's story. And maybe they're going to hire me to do a little thing somewhere. And so this is where I am when I arrive in America. And I have this gay friend, and he's like, well, you need to go on Tinder. And I'm like, no, I don't. And he's like, yes, you do need to go on Tinder. You can't stay like a single person here. And it's fun, and you're going to have fun. I'm like, no, I'm not going to have fun. This is for losers. I mean, this is what is in the movie, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to meet people like that. But then the pandemic happened, and that was the only way to meet people. And also, I always think that, American and English language men are so sexy. I don't know why.
We are. I mean, there's no question about it.
I know, but it's true.
We don't feel that way.
The great guy was American. I've always fantasized about an American. I was like, well, this is the great,
this is a chance.
Nobody knows me. I can do whatever I want. It's like, okay, let's go for it. And this is how the movie got written, because basically I began to date. I began to understand what was going on. I was in America, understanding the new rules of this social media kind of thing. And that's it.
And again, so it just flowed out of you, this sort of idea, and which is so gorgeous that this happens to you throughout your whole career as a writer-director, is that you were just kind of like, well, this is how I'm feeling now. Well, I'm going to write that. My daughter's leaving. I'm going to write that. I'm in America and I'm going on Tinder. I'm going to write about that. And it's gorgeous because, it's a beautiful film. It's so stunning to watch. And I was so cared about, what's going to happen to her. And it was just a delight. It's like I say, it was a bouncy, beautiful little film.
And I think it shows that you experienced all that. There's a certain truth to it and honesty to all the scenes. And which makes it a really warm and magical experience to watch it as well.
Talk us through how it actually got made then, because now you're shooting quite a lot of this in America. How did you then raise the finance? Was it kind of like a co-production? Was that kind of, how does that work for you on a film like this?
I just went, because I spent so much time in America, I realized that my kind of movies, which are human stories, are not in theaters anymore. You know, people don't buy tickets to go and see intimate stories. They go to see superheroes and Marvel, stuff like that. Yeah. Or Christopher Nolan, but you know, I'm not there yet. Yeah. So I realized that my movie now are made for platforms. So I saw that Amazon had great movies and great stuff, quality stuff. Netflix is something else. Netflix is something you like to binge. You know, it's like the good In-N-Out burger that you like crave for. But Amazon, you can have some really, really good gems there. And so when I arrived in France, I didn't really want to go to theater, and I went to Amazon and I said, "Would you like to do that movie?" And they said yes. And when Amazon says yes, you don't have any finance problem. They do it. You know, that's it. That's done. So I didn't have to convince that much, but I'm super, super grateful to this person in Amazon in France, because he really made my life so much easier. And I'm super proud to have done. It's one of the biggest success in France for Amazon as a movie. And I'm super happy for that.
I'm super happy for you. That's incredible. That's super work. The, let's say, directing process on this, how did you find it compared to everything else? Was there anything different you did, or was there anything you thought, oh, I'm going to try this time, especially shooting in America, especially after what happened with LOL? Was there any difference here, you know, shooting in America, or was it just you being you and having a great time?
No, I know that, you know, there is a process in America. We don't even have that word in French. Process.
Yeah, and we shouldn't, because it just gets in the way.
We just don't process things. We do or we don't. Yeah, like we don't date. We fuck or we don't.
Yeah, which is in the script. Yeah,
it's the script. You know, it's in France. It's another way of seeing things. And with LOL American, I learned the process, and I learned that I cannot be as stubborn or as impatient that I could be in France, that there is a process and I have to admit it. And this is going to help me go through it easily. And the process during COVID, tell me it's not a process. It's like a crucifixion every fucking day. But, you know, I had to go through that process to be able to do the movie. So that's it. And also I've decided, when I was in LA, I was thinking, I love so much the sunsets here. So instead of doing daytime like in the script or nighttime like in the script, I said sunset times, which is beautiful. But which only lasts 1 hour,
which is a shame,
to a whole night or to a whole day. You know, so I kind of, you know, put a bullet in my foot. Do we say in French? You know, they say, "Oh, we're going to shoot that in sunset." Okay, we had planned 5 hours, so it means we're going to have 1 hour. I was like, okay, but sunset deserves, you know, the light deserves that effort. So instead of shooting many scenes for 4-5 hours, I shot them in 1 hour. And I don't regret it, because I love the sunset in LA.
Oh, it's stunning. We're golden hour, we call it in the UK, maybe in America too. What about directing techniques and tips then? If you just give us some advice on what you've learned, because you're a fabulous director. You seem like a wonderful person as well, easy to get on with. Talk us through just some directing tips you've learned along the way, some of our listeners might enjoy.
So it's another director. He told me, you know, at the end of the day, what matters is the actor and the big shot of an actor, the close up of actors. This is what's going to give you the emotion and everything. So first of all, my actors are my people on the script. You know, when I direct, I'm trying to be very, very friend with them, and I love them, and I deeply, sincerely love them. And second of all, I prepare as much as I can, but I let go my intuition. Like, you know, the sunset things, it wasn't prepared. And at the day before, I say, okay, I want this. And some scenes, I feel like there's something lacking. And now I dare to say it. It's not, oh, I didn't ask for it, so I'm not going to ask. I'm asking. And if it's no, it's no. But if I feel I missed an actor or I missed a scene, I'm like, I know it's not written, but I think it would be good to film that. And, you know, and I always film much more than what is in the script. I don't put it in the script because otherwise producers are going to freak out and everybody's going to freak out and they're going to count me like one more week. But I know that when I'm in a room or when I'm in a street, I'm going to film something else. And I always say to the costume designer, I say, bring me some new costumes because I'm going to shoot so many stuff there that nobody knows about. And she likes to be my little complice, you know. So she books many stuff and I'm like, okay, let's do this. And I know it's not in the script, but let's do it. And also something very important is to make scenes where nothing happens. Just the character is looking at outside, doing nothing. And you always use those kind of stuff after for editing. So if I have one thing to say is, don't forget to film the nothingness of life.
Beautiful. Lisa Azuelos, thank you so much for joining us on the Filmmakers podcast.
Thank you so much.
Remember, you can get out there and make your film. You can make it happen, just as Lisa has done. And if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, 'tis your duty to send the elevator back down. We will see you next Tuesday, as always. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
Take care. Bye, bye, bye. Good luck. Bye.
We hope you liked today's episode. If you want to hear more, visit our Patreon for bonus clips and exclusive content.